The way that she controls the game and play makes, gets everybody involved, but also, the step backs in her shot. She reminds me a lot of Luka in the sense of like they both can control the game so well.
These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan, they cannot have this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they try. People believe what we say on television. Just because people don't like you or your personality, they can't get on TV and slander you. It's just total bullshit.
Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty girls.
Caitlin Clark has already made her mark in the WNBA. Her electrifying style of play is changing the game and bringing more attention to women's basketball than ever before. But her influence isn't limited to the WNBA alone. It has reached the NBA as well, where stars continue to praise her incredible talent and impact. With Caitlin's rapid rise to fame, the spotlight has brought both admiration and criticism. Fame doesn't only attract support, it also brings doubters, critics, and even tension from some around the league. The bigger your name becomes, the more people want to see you fail. Everyone seems to have an opinion about Caitlin Clark, and not all of them are positive. However, there's an interesting twist. NBA stars are refusing to stay quiet, having experienced pressure, criticism, and massive expectations themselves. Many are now stepping up to defend Caitlin against negativity and criticism coming from some WNBA players. So, what do the biggest names in the NBA have to say about Caitlin Clark? Stay tuned as we dive into the praise, advice, and support from athletes who understand exactly what it takes to rise above the noise and succeed under pressure. Caitlin Clark's presence is already transforming the Indiana Fever, and it feels like only a matter of time before the team becomes a serious force in the league. Clark has never been comfortable with losing, and once the Fever build the right roster around her, they could become extremely difficult to stop. Her competitive mindset has been clear since her college days, and it's one of the biggest reasons WNBA arenas continue to fill up every time she steps onto the court. Fans have followed her journey ever since her time at Iowa, and among those supporters is NBA player Kobe White. The excitement that Kobe White has for Caitlin Clark is impossible to ignore. He has shared some incredibly supportive comments about her that may surprise a lot of people. Throughout Caitlin's rookie season, White has remained one of her biggest supporters, and honestly, it's easy to understand why. With her flashy highlights, deep shooting range, elite court vision, and record-breaking performances, Caitlin Clark has captured the attention of basketball fans everywhere, including NBA players who recognize greatness when they see it.
Supporting Caitlin Clark for a while and what she's been doing for the games. This is my first time seeing him in person, so it's been dope.
What was it like when you saw her hit that three?
Which one? The one that broke the record was crazy. I think she put up 2 feet beyond half court. So for me to see it in person, she's legit. She's the best. So she's the GOAT. So her skill set far exceeds everyone else.
Patrick Beverley has also spoken about Caitlin Clark and the massive attention she brings to the WNBA. According to Beverley, almost everything involving Clark attracts more attention than it would for any other player in the league. Whether it's her performances, rivalries, or even controversial moments on the court, Caitlin constantly finds herself at the center of conversation. That attention also extends to the physical style of play she has faced, including hard fouls and moments that many fans have viewed as unnecessarily aggressive. Ironically, this physical intensity is something Beverley himself became known for during his NBA career, where his tough and sometimes controversial style often put him in the spotlight. Despite the criticism and rough treatment Clark has experienced, Beverley has been quick to praise her dominance and growing impact on the WNBA. He pointed out that the extra attention surrounding Caitlin is ultimately a positive thing for the league because it brings in more viewers, creates bigger storylines, and generates excitement around women's basketball. In his view, Clark's popularity is helping elevate the entire WNBA to a new level. During an appearance on Gil's Arena, Beverley also talked about training and practicing with WNBA players, saying he was genuinely impressed by the level of skill throughout the league. That praise applies especially to Caitlin Clark, whose talent continues to stand out. Even without the overwhelming physical advantages that some all-time great athletes possess, Clark has proven she has the skill, basketball IQ, and competitive mentality needed to dominate games and make a major impact at the professional level.
This woman, Caitlin Clark, she's not the tallest. She doesn't have a crazy frame that, but she got women's basketball on lock right now. And she hasn't really been in it in a while. And a lot of people haven't seen a lot of it. Anything that happens with her is going to be magnified, right? Which is great for the WNBA.
Another major admirer of Caitlin Clark is European basketball superstar Luka Doncic. Over time, many fans and analysts have drawn comparisons between Luka and Caitlin because of how both players completely control the game on the offensive end. They share a unique ability to dictate pace, create scoring opportunities, and take over games when it matters most. On top of that, both rose to stardom incredibly fast and quickly became the faces of their respective leagues. Luka is widely known as one of the fiercest competitors in basketball. His confidence, relentless mentality, and constant trash talk have become a major part of his identity. He plays with an edge and always looks determined to prove he is better than everyone else on the court. That's exactly why his praise for Caitlin Clark stood out so much. Despite being one of the most confident scorers and shooters in the NBA today, Luka went out of his way to compliment Clark, even joking that she might be a better shooter than him. In one memorable moment, Luka praised Caitlin by saying, "It's like a woman version of Stephen Curry. She can shoot better than me." Coming from one of basketball's biggest stars, that kind of respect speaks volumes. For a player known for his supreme confidence, admitting someone may be a better shooter than him is incredibly high praise. Caitlin Clark appears to be following a path very similar to the one Luka took from young prodigy to superstar. One of the earliest milestones on that journey was nearly unanimous Rookie of the Year recognition, something both players achieved. Luka narrowly missed being unanimous by just 2 votes, while Caitlin missed it by only 1. From the very beginning, it was obvious that both players possessed rare talent and the potential to eventually dominate their leagues. Luka has already fulfilled much of the enormous promise that surrounded him, reaching extraordinary levels of offensive production and becoming one of basketball's biggest superstars. If Caitlin Clark continues on her current trajectory, there's a strong chance she could reach a similarly dominant level in the WNBA sooner rather than later.
It's a woman, Steph Curry. She can shoot it better than me.
Caitlin Clark has also drawn comparisons to Tyrese Halliburton, and the similarities between the two go much deeper than most people realize. Both players are elite three-point shooters with the ability to stretch defenses far beyond the arc, but their impact goes beyond scoring. They both use their shooting ability to open up opportunities for teammates, creating plays with incredible court vision and passing skills. Their exciting, fast-paced style of basketball makes them not only effective players, but also incredibly entertaining to watch. The comparisons become even more interesting when looking at their situations. Both Caitlin Clark and Tyrese Halliburton are young stars who quickly built strong reputations after arriving in the basketball-crazed state of Indiana. Halliburton became the face of the Indiana Pacers, while Caitlin immediately brought massive attention and excitement to the Indiana Fever. Their rise has helped make Indiana one of the biggest basketball hotspots in the country once again because of those similarities. It came as no surprise when the media quickly asked Halliburton for his thoughts on Caitlin Clark arriving in Indianapolis and becoming another basketball star within the same sports organization as someone who understands the pressure of carrying expectations in a basketball-loving city. Halliburton's perspective on Clark's rise naturally became something fans wanted.
Caitlin, congratulations on an amazing season. Rookie of the Year
So
is a
far,
big honor.
the connection
You
between
deserve it.
Caitlin Clark and
Congratulations.
Tyrese Halliburton has grown into a strong friendship. The two stars have built a close bond, frequently supporting one another and showing up for each other's games whenever possible. Their shared experiences as young basketball stars in Indiana have helped create a natural connection, and fans have quickly embraced the growing friendship between the two. Tyrese has openly talked about watching more WNBA games than ever before, largely because of his growing interest in following Caitlin Clark and the progress of the Indiana Fever. As Clark continues to develop and the Fever improve as a team, Halliburton has remained supportive, often cheering them on and recognizing the impact Caitlin is having on women's basketball. Many fans are hopeful that the Fever can follow a similar path to the one Halliburton helped create with the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese quickly transformed the Pacers into a competitive team and helped accelerate their rise into playoff contention. If Caitlin Clark and the Fever continue progressing at the same pace, Indiana could soon have two exciting basketball teams competing at a high level.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for her to be here. I think it brings a lot of excitement to the city. You know, a city with a lot of young talent already as it is, and adding her, you know, she's one of the faces of women's basketball, and for her to be here and under the same roof, you know, I think is really exciting for me, and I think a lot of people in our organization. And just look forward to, you know, watching her grow throughout the process, watching her get better. Looking forward to actually being able to cheer for her now. You know, now she's with the good guys.
And just when it seemed like the story around Caitlin Clark couldn't get any more interesting, NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal took his praise to another level. During an appearance on Unapologetically Angel, hosted by Angel Reese, Shaq openly praised Caitlin Clark and made it clear how highly he thinks of her talent and impact on the game. Shaq didn't hesitate to speak positively about Caitlin, emphasizing the attention, excitement, and energy she has brought to women's basketball. Hearing those comments in that setting made the moment even more notable, as one of the biggest legends in basketball openly voiced support for Clark while discussing the growing spotlight surrounding the WNBA. What Shaq had to say reinforced a message many basketball fans and analysts already believe. Caitlin Clark is a special player with the potential to leave a lasting mark on the sport. Coming from someone with Shaq's experience, dominance, and basketball credibility, that praise carried serious weight and added even more recognition to Clark's growing influence on the game.
And it's been really cool to see her growth this last year, and the Fever as a whole, to see Kelsey get some playoff experience, and just the whole group, Aaliyah, the whole group. It's really cool to follow the team, and it's unfortunate that they lost, but they're a young group. They'll be back for success, and now locked into watching more WNBA. Because
the controversy, pressure, and constant spotlight surrounding Caitlin Clark could easily overwhelm many young players, but Anthony Davis has praised the way she has handled it all. As someone who entered the NBA with enormous expectations, Davis understands exactly what it feels like to be under constant scrutiny from fans, media, and critics. From the moment he entered professional basketball, he was viewed as one of the league's biggest young prospects and faced immense pressure to live up to expectations. Davis has also had a front-row seat to the experience of another highly celebrated superstar, his longtime teammate and close friend LeBron James. Having watched LeBron deal with years of intense pressure, media attention, and nonstop criticism, Davis understands how difficult the journey can be for players carrying massive expectations from day one because of that experience. Anthony Davis recognizes just how challenging Caitlin Clark's situation really is. The nonstop criticism, media narratives, heightened physicality, and pressure that come with being a rookie sensation are not easy for anyone to handle. Yet Clark has continued to stay focused, compete at a high level, and carry herself professionally despite the noise surrounding her. After watching how Caitlin has responded to every challenge so far, it's no surprise that Davis remains optimistic about her future. In his eyes, she has handled every obstacle with determination, composure, and maturity, qualities that often separate great players from future superstars. If she continues responding to adversity the same way, her future success in the WNBA looks incredibly promising.
Handles all the criticism and everything that's going on, fairly well. She never let nothing knock her off her square, man. I just saw the interview when she was they asked her about not being on the Olympic team.
What a great answer she gave.
Great answer. I think she'll be fine, and all the stuff about the physicality, and it comes with the league.
It comes with it, yeah.
No, you're a rookie.
As a rookie, one of the biggest adjustments Caitlin Clark has had to face is physicality. And lately, it has become one of the hottest topics surrounding both the WNBA and Clark herself. With so many new fans tuning into women's basketball because of Caitlin's popularity, comparisons between the WNBA and NBA have naturally become more common. Since the NBA is the more familiar product for many viewers, discussions about how certain players would translate between leagues have become increasingly popular. NBA champion Michael Porter Jr. even weighed in on the conversation during his podcast, sharing thoughts about how Caitlin Clark's game might translate to the NBA. Porter highlighted the obvious difference in physicality between the two leagues, pointing out how much more size, speed, and athleticism NBA players deal with on a nightly basis. While his comments about Caitlin were not entirely glowing, The discussion itself speaks volumes about her level of talent and influence. Very few WNBA players have ever become popular enough to even be mentioned in hypothetical NBA conversations, let alone be seriously analyzed by NBA stars. The fact that Caitlin Clark is part of those discussions shows just how unique her impact has become at the same time. These comparisons are less about proving whether she could actually play in the NBA and more about recognizing the extraordinary skill set she brings to basketball. Her shooting range, playmaking ability, and defensive creativity have impressed fans and players alike, making her one of the most talked about athletes in the sport today. Even when opinions differ, being included in conversations of this magnitude is a reflection of how special Caitlin Clark's rise has been.
It's cold. That's the one girl that I was like, okay, if she was in an NBA game, yeah, on defense, she would get cooked. Offensively, like she'll knock down some corner threes or like a swing three. Like she actually would, because she can shoot from that far, you know?
Now let's talk about someone who may understand Caitlin Clark's situation better than almost anyone, LeBron James. There may be no better person to offer praise, perspective, and advice to Caitlin than LeBron himself. As most basketball fans know, LeBron entered the NBA carrying possibly the greatest expectations of any prospect in basketball history. Drafted straight out of high school, he was already being discussed as a future all-time great before he ever played a professional game. In many ways, Caitlin Clark's league-changing popularity and attention can only be compared to what LeBron experienced during his early rise. With that level of fame comes non-stop pressure, criticism, and unrealistic expectations. Throughout his career, LeBron has been one of the most heavily criticized athletes in sports, largely because of the impossible standards people placed on him from the very beginning. Every performance, every decision, and every mistake became a major headline, and media narratives constantly surrounded him. That experience makes LeBron uniquely qualified to understand what Caitlin Clark is going through. Like Caitlin, LeBron often had a target on his back, with opposing players giving maximum effort every night in hopes of knocking him off his pedestal. The spotlight brought pressure, but it also motivated competitors to challenge him even more. Despite all of that, LeBron still managed to achieve greatness and exceed expectations in a way very few athletes ever have. Living up to enormous hype is incredibly rare in both the NBA and WNBA. Very few players have ever successfully handled expectations this massive and still delivered at an elite level. That's one reason why LeBron's support for Caitlin Clark matters so much. He has publicly spoken positively about her and offered advice directly related to handling fame, pressure, and outside criticism. Much of LeBron's guidance centers around staying humble, remaining focused, and being willing to learn from others. Caitlin herself has spoken about being a student of the game and wanting to continue learning as her career develops, which suggests she already has the right mindset. For any athlete trying to navigate superstardom, humility and focus are essential qualities that if anyone understands what it takes to survive intense scrutiny while still becoming an all-time great, it's LeBron James. His journey proves that greatness is still possible even when the pressure feels overwhelming. And if his belief in Caitlin Clark means anything, then her future in basketball looks incredibly bright. As time goes on, many fans hope critics will put aside the negativity and simply appreciate the rise of another generational basketball talent.
And my advice to anyone that comes in with this, this level of like notoriety, out of this world expectation, whatever the case may be, I just think it's all about having, be a horse, man. The Kentucky Derby, put your blinders on, go to work, show up to work, punch your clock in, prepare yourself, work on your game, work on your craft, kind of keep your mouth shut, and just learn from the vets. When they ask, you voice your opinion if they want your opinion, man, early on, because everybody is looking for you to say anything and they're going to splice it and cut it and make it a negative thing. I'm rooting for Caitlin because I've been in that seat before. I've walked that road before. I hope she kills. I hope Aaliyah Boston does amazing. I hope they do great.